What is going on YouTube? My name is Nevin the Barber, and in today's YouTube video we're going to be going over a mid drop fade transformation. So as you guys can see, my client did want to chop off the man bun today. So we started off by chopping off the bun, and we're just going to begin by sectioning off the hair and taking off some of the bulk. So you guys can see I parted the hair off and went straight into doing some clipper over comb. And now starting with my gamma hitters, I began carving in my first bald line to start this haircut. And with this first bald line right here, you guys want to be very consistent and precise with how you carve it in, just because this is going to determine how the rest of your fade lays out. So always be sure to get that first bald line clean and consistent in on both sides. And you guys can see that I turned my clipper around, just cutting with the grain. That way I can give myself a nice clean guideline before I go in and start fading into the hair. So now that we have that complete, I'll begin using my gamma ergos to carve in this next guideline in the fade. And I am using the lever all the way open with no guard. This is cutting the hair down to a 0.5 length. And I'll just begin closing my lever, doing some lever play, flicking up at that line. One thing to remember whenever cutting hair is that whenever you guys are closing the lever, the hair is going to be getting cut at a shorter length. So just be sure to shorten your cutting stroke whenever you're going in, flicking out that bottom line. And for the next step in this fade, I went ahead and put on the half guard all the way open. So this right here is cutting the hair down to a short number 1 guard length. And we're going to repeat the same process by closing that lever little by little, just to knock out that guideline that we created. And just be nice and consistent with the cutting stroke. Be sure not to go past that first line that you guys initially created with the lever open. And now going to my 1.5 guard all the way open, I'm just going to be attacking that final line in our fade. We're going to begin doing lever play one more time just to finish off the top of that blend. So now that we have our fade complete, I went back to my gamma hitters just to do the edge up. And on the other side, we are going to be doing the same steps. However, I'm going to take off the bulk because my client did want a comb over. So to remove all the rest of my client's hair from his man bun, I'm just simply laying my fingers along the parietal ridge of my client. And what this is doing is basically, of course, taking off all the bulk, but whenever my client combs his hair to the side, there's still going to be enough length on the top area, the crown on my client's head. You guys can see that I'm laying my hand all the way across the parietal ridge on my client's head, ensuring that the hair can lay flat on the crown whenever it's cut. And now that we have the bulk off, we will be doing the same steps. So I am starting with my gamma hitters again, just going in to carve in my first bald line. And it's very important that you guys do drop the fade in the back, just so it can fit the structure of the skull. Anytime you guys are doing a mid fade or low fade, you do want to make sure to drop it beneath that occipital bone in the back of your client's head. And for the next step in this fade, we are going with the lever all the way open on my gamma ergos again. So we did take this up about 1 inch. And you guys already know the deal. We're going to start closing the lever 1 notch at a time, flicking up at that guideline. And it was pretty easy for me to knock out the guideline with these clippers, as you guys can tell, just because I do have them 0 gapped. So if you guys don't have your clippers 0 gapped, I highly recommend that you gap them, just so you can knock out that bottom skin line a little bit easier. And like I said before, as you guys close the lever, you do want to make sure to shorten your cutting stroke. So now that we have that first section blended out, we'll begin by putting the half guard on all the way open. This is now cutting the hair down to a 1 guard length, and you guys can see I brought it up about another 1/2 inch. and repeating the same steps, we're just gonna start closing the lever one notch at a time, attacking that next guideline. And you guys can see with the consistent cutting stroke, our blend is coming together little by little. And for the next step in this fade, I went ahead and put the 1.5 guard all the way open. So this is cutting the hair down to a short 2 guard length. And you guys can see I'm just using the corner of the clipper, just attacking and dispersing those dark areas that I see. And I put on the 2 guard just to bring it a little bit higher, not going past that parietal ridge, but just flicking into the bulk of my client's hair. And lastly, I went with the 1 guard just to polish up the top of that blend. The fade does happen from the 0 to the 1.5, so always keep that in mind whenever you guys are blending the hair out. And of course, on the C cup, it's very important that you guys leave it as natural as you can whenever you're doing the edge up on your client. Of course, nobody likes a pushback hairline, and the more natural you keep the cut, the longer the haircut will last. So always keep that in mind whenever you guys are doing the edge up on your client. And now to get into the lineup. Whenever you guys are doing a razor lineup, always be sure to stretch the skin in the opposite direction in which you're bringing the razor blade. Other than that, you'll be good to go. And now we'll begin taking off all the excess bulk on the bottom of the fade. So this is the fun part in the haircut. And I do highly recommend trying out this method if you guys struggle with knocking out your skin line whenever fading hair. So for any beginner barbers out there that are struggling with knocking out that skin line, I do highly recommend this method right here. There's so many different ways to cut hair, and there's so many different methods to choose from, but this one right here is pretty reliable, and this is one of my go-to methods right here. My client did not want to keep his beard or his facial hair, so I just decided to take it all off with my gamma hitters. And you guys can see that this clipper right here was able to take it off pretty effortlessly. So if y'all want to save some money on these clippers right here, feel free to use my code Nevin10 on the Gamma website, and you guys could get yourself a nice discount at checkout. But other than that, don't be afraid to invest into yourselves, because that's the only way that you guys are going to get a good return on your investment, by investing into your craft, and of course investing into yourself and your own business. So for any beginner barbers out there that are, afraid to jump or take that risk in investing into their craft, I promise you it's worth it, and I promise you it'll pay off. Just be consistent with it, take care of your clippers, and of course they'll take care of you. And now that we've gotten all that bulk knocked off with my hitters, I just went ahead and went back with my Gamma Uno shaver. And once again, if you guys want to get a discount on this shaver, you can get it on the Gamma website. Feel free to use my code Nevin10 just to get y'all's discount code in. And to finish up this blend, I went ahead and did some shear over comb with my very own shears. If you all are interested in purchasing my own line of shears, feel free to shoot me a DM at Nevin the Barber on Instagram. And I do highly recommend using shears in every haircut, just because it does polish up the blend and give it that picture perfect blurry look. And I also recommend applying some product every time you guys are done cutting your client, just to give them that nice fresh picture perfect look. This could also increase your chances of retainment and of course getting a tip. So always be sure to go above and beyond whenever you guys are styling your hair and cleaning them up. But with that being said, that is pretty much it for today's haircut tutorial. If you guys learned anything in this video, please be sure to smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in today. My name is Nevin the Barber, and I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one.